Hey, it's Nicola, and in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how you can actually configure your boards, and this is for the users who are using the Jira data center. So in order to actually configure your boards, you either need to be a project administrator or you actually need to be the board administrator. So you actually click on the board here and you go on configure. This is the very first screen that you will actually see. So first of all, what you can actually do in here is you can change the name of the board. If you don't like the name of the board that you're having right now, you can, of course, change it. By default, usually there is like no need to change the name of the board unless there's some specific needs of the board to say something like let's say research and development and or analysis or something like that. So you can keep the name as it is. The second thing is that for the board administrator in here, you can actually add more users in here. And when it comes to the data center, you can actually add the groups to be the board administrator, which is actually pretty interesting because I don't think you actually have this option within the Jira Cloud. So this is a possibility to have within your Jira data center. Now, to have the board administrators to be Jira software users, it's not actually pretty wise to use that because it means that basically anyone can actually administer this board if they're actually part of your Jira, Atlassian site. All right, so filter. Uh, Boards are actually the visual representation of your filters. So how your filter query has been defined, that is how the issues on the board will actually be represented. So if I go here and I edit the filter query, I can actually see what the query is for this specific for this specific for this specific board. All right, so if I go in advanced here, I can see that this basically is the query for the board, and mostly by default these are going to be the queries that you actually create for your project, and this is automatically being created by the Atlassian. Of course, if you actually want to change this and to apply a different filter, you can always change that. So you can always change your query depending on how your board want to be displaying the issues. Now the thing is, when it comes to company managed projects, you can create how many boards you actually like. You can either create a Kanban, or you can either create a Scrum board as well. You can actually do this by creating the board from scratch, by also creating the board that is going to be creating also a new project. And you can also use the existing filter to actually be applying to your board. So you create a filter and then you apply that filter to the board, and basically that is how you're going to change uh, well, your board. And how you actually do that, so you have this save filter in here. Right now I don't have any more filters in here because I have one project, but probably you're going to have more filters in here. What actually happens is when you change that filter, some of the issues may actually be gone from the board. So don't be confused, because that actually means that some of the issues are not belonging to your filter, and that's why they're going to be hidden. So it's not like they're going to be deleted. No, they're just going to be hidden from your board if the filter gets changed somehow. When it comes to the share of the filter, you can actually change this. Now, you can change who are the viewers of this specific board, and that right now that is going to be the project in here. Now you can choose this to be either on the level of the organization, either the level on the user itself, either the level on the project. So that is something that you can actually do. You can also add some more of the viewers in here, and it's saying like you can add any logged in user, but if any logged in user has been added in here, that actually means that anyone within your Jira site will be able to actually see this board, and that is not really good practice, because maybe you're having some sensitive information that you don't want anyone to actually be able to see within your company. So it's actually pretty wise to not choose this option right here. When it comes to the editors, so the editors are those who can actually, and now it's saying it's not being shared. So if you want, you can add a group who can edit this. You can add a project within the project itself. So the users within a specific project can actually be editing this board. Or you want to add a user who can actually do this only. So this is actually pretty great if you're having like 2 or 3 people who are administering this board, and they can actually change some of the settings in here. So that is actually pretty good. And in this URL here, you can actually see the ID of your filter as well. That might be a useful information if you're looking for the ID of the filter. All right, so as you can see, this is your filter query right here, and it's even showing here, and it's saying it's using the rank. So what actually means the ranking? If I go back to the board, actually means that I can move these issues on top of each other. So if I have something important to be done, so let's say I want to have like the highest issues actually to be shown first. I want to make sure that based on the ranking I can actually do this, so my team is focused on what we can actually do next. So since this is the Scrum board itself, when it comes to the Scrum board, first of all, this is the active sprint. You have the sprints that your team is actually working on. It's not usually taking more than 2 weeks. And within the active sprints, these are the issues that the team is actually working on. And within the backlog, you are actually preparing your issues for the next sprints that are incoming. But we're not talking about that. We're actually talking about the boards themselves. So now also there are some projects in the board. And if I go with a view permission, it's gonna take me to the permission scheme of this specific project. Okay. Now when it comes to the columns, first of all, the first thing that we're actually seeing are the column constraints. You can have the column constraints based on the issues with no subtask, and the issue count that is well included in the subtask. What actually this means, if I put the issue count in here within my columns that I'm seeing here, I can define the minimum a number of issues that I can actually have in this column, and the maximum number of issues that I can actually have in this column. So what this actually means, this means if I go with number 3 and I can say, okay, this is going to be the maximum. And if I go back to my board in here, so for to do, I'm having 2 of these. So what happens is I'm going to say test, I'm going to say create. It's not currently available. Yeah, it's not currently available because if you actually create your issues, they're not going to go into your active sprint in the Scrum board, they're going to go into the backlog. If you move them in the active sprint, this is going to change the scope of your sprint, and you're going to have some changes within your reports when you're actually doing the reports. All right, and if I do one more, limits test, and I say create, and I add, and it's now turning red because it's saying the maximum is number 3. So that is the column constraint. I can actually apply this to all of the columns if I want, or if I don't want to have any of the column constraints, I'm just going to say none. Days in columns, so this is unchecked. Basically, it's going to count how many days your issue has been within a certain status, and it's going to add some of the dots in there. So it's checked now, and as you can see in here, the dots have been added in here. The same thing goes in here. So it's actually adding these dots. On the cloud, it's actually kind of different because you can also see the when you hover over, you can actually see how many days some issue has been within a specific status. Simplified workflow, and it's saying that using simplified workflow, this actually means that this simplified workflow is managed by your Jira software. What actually you can do is the project administrators can add or remove the statuses from this column as well. So what actually this means if I want to add a column in here, I can say I'm adding a column, and it's defining what category is this going to be. When it comes to the category, it means that there are like 3 status categories within Jira itself. You have the to do, in progress, and in done. So for the review, this is going to still going to be in the in progress. And the good thing is, when I do this, it automatically creates a status for me that is actually called review. What this means is when I go back to the board, as you can see, I'm having this review in here. This means that this new status has been added to your workflow. So if I want to change this, so this is the status that I'm having is okay. So from to do, I can move this to the review, and since I actually move this to the review, it's going to be here. Let me go back to the board. Alright, so then we also have, and it's in here when it comes to done, it's having this checkbox saying set the resolution. So this means that the resolution itself, when you finish the issue, that issued and specific issue key gets a strike through. It means that that specific issue has been finished. Now if you move your issue from done back to the another status that is actually not done, that strike through has been removed since the issue is considered to be not done, and In that specific case, also the resolution gets removed as well. Okay, so we got the swim lanes, all right, and in swim lanes, it's saying here base swim lanes and stories. And as you can see from here, I'm having this swim lane in here created. So since I'm actually having this, now it's going to separate the issues based on the swim lanes. But if I say no swim lanes, then I'm going to get this view back. This is how I'm actually seeing my whole board, and I'm like, okay, this is how the swim lanes are actually working. So the swim lane, I can base the swim lanes on the projects, epics, assignees, stories, or the queries themselves. Well, what means the queries themselves? This actually means that if I click on this, now I need to specify the JQL in here because every swim lane that is based on the query, it needs to have its JQL. Otherwise, it won't actually work. So if I say here medium prio or medium priority, what I need to specify in here. So first of all, I need to specify the name of the project. That is going to be Scrum. And I need to specify the priority. And I'm going to say the priority itself is going to be medium. And I'm going to click on add in here. So if I go back to my board in here, all right, so it's not being applied in here. Medium priority. Okay, queries. Yeah, all of that is fine. Okay, so if I go here, I'm gonna make sure swim lane test. Okay, add sample to the swim lane. It's still saying swim lane test. Okay, project is describing the priority is actually on the medium. Saved filter on the board. Queries are based on JQL that is additional to the saved filter of this specific board. So if I only go with priority equals to medium. Okay, there are actually no changes in here. That is pretty strange because I have these priorities. Okay, so now this is high, and this is also the medium, and it's not changing the swim lane. That's pretty weird. Actually, it actually is. Okay, let me go with the we go back with stories once more. Yeah, it's a different thing. Okay. Let me go with issue type equals to story. Now I'm going to say stories. Add it. Okay. Now it's better. And it's like now in the lanes themselves. Okay. Alright, so then we have quick filters. When it comes to the quick filters are being shown in here. So these are your quick filters, and it's saying only my issues. That means the issues that where I have been assigned, where I'm the assignee. So those are only my issues, and I can add some custom JQL in here if I want to have more quick filters. So let's say I want to see only the issues that are actually done. So I'm going to say done issues. I'm going to click on add into board, done issues, and I can see them here. Okay, car colors. So when it comes to car colors, this is actually good if you want to differentiate the work. Let's say you have like either 2 or 3 users, and those 2 or 3 users, they want to be, more focused visually on the issues that they're having. So you can define the colors that are based on the issue types, priorities, assignees, or you can even base the colors on the queries themselves. So if I say like for the issue types, now this is what I get for the issue types. So first of all, color of the bug, I don't want the color of the bug basically to be defined in this color. Usually they're going to be red. Subtasks and stories. So for the story also, I want for the story to be defined in green. So if I go back, this is what I get. So these are the card colors in here. The question is, now, can you actually make this uh, whole card to be in that specific color? Natively by Jira, no, but if you install a third-party application, car colors or something like that, that it's called, it's a free app. You can actually color out uh, the whole the whole card layout. So when it comes to the card layout, it's like what information is going to be shown on each of the card within your board. So in here I can specify and I can say something like, issue type. I can add that. I can also specify result, the status, for example. So this is the backlog and active sprints. In the Kanban, it's not like this. In Kanban, you only have one of these sections. In here, it's not like that. So you have the backlog, so it's not going to be visible in there. So I'm going to add status in here, and I'm also going to add the issue type. What do I mean it's not going to be visible there? It's not going to be visible on this specific board because this board is showing only the active sprints. So if I now go back to the board, you're going to see, okay, this is the story, and it's saying to do, and story, in progress, story, review, and things like that. So those are the card layouts. When it comes to the estimations, in data center, you have like story points, original time estimate, original story points, and you also have the issue count. So based on the story points, it's like right, so your velocity from sprint to sprint will be measured against these estimates. You have also the option for the time tracking. So currently, right now, your users cannot actually log how much time they have spent working on a specific issue. But if your team is actually in need for this to be done, to actually log their time, how many how much they have been working on some specific issue, you can actually turn this on. When you actually turn this on, you'll be able to edit the remaining estimate and these time spent fields. So for the working days, usually I don't actually really change this. I leave this to be as it is. And the issue detail view. Now, for the issue detail view, the thing is, it's saying add or reorder fields on the issue detail view. So for this specific thing, there is a whole article that I'm going to be leaving in the description, and I'm going to define this. So you also have for the data center, You also have for the cloud, the difference is not the huge. It's basically the same. So everything like what is applying to the cloud also applies to the data center. But if you want, the exact page does not exist. Okay, it's saying it doesn't exist in here. But the thing is, first of all, okay, so you can rearrange the field layout. When it comes to the field layout itself, it's when you go to your project settings in here as well, and when you specify and when you actually want to see your issue layout. So it's like the fields. Uh, issue collectors, issue types. Alright, so fill the configuration and everything. So this is for the story. Okay, so now it leads me to the workflow. Basically, I don't need that, but it's this way. It's almost like having this for the screens, because in the cloud version you have this to be different, and this is different because you have when you go to issues, and within the issues you have the layouts. In here in the data center, it's not being specified as the layouts themselves. So when you're actually changing and rearranging your fields on how they're going to be showing within your issues, you're mostly going to use, and always you're going to use, the screens. And when it comes to the issue detail change, for the issue detail change, the thing that you need to know, you either need to be a project admin or the board admin. And here's the whole list. And it's say, first of all, it says you can configure the fields to be displayed in the issue detail on the board configuration screen. The values of some fields are also editable in the issue detail view. And this is the whole table. I'm not gonna go through each of these options. I'm just gonna leave this in the description. Okay, so this is everything that you actually need to know about the board configuration in the Jira Data Center. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See ya. Bye bye.